Why did God let you lose a relationship with someone that you really loved? If God is all powerful and all loving, why didn't He allow this relationship to work that you wanted so badly? We know we have free will and we reap negative consequences for bad choices, but what if you didn't do anything wrong? And even if you did do something wrong, why didn't God stop you? So I am going to give you some possible explanations, but I think it's really important that we first start with trusting God and His sovereignty, regardless of whether or not we understand or not. And yet, I think there still can be good fruit when we ask the question, why did God take this relationship away from me? If we're asking that question in humility and not pride. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 possible reasons for why God allowed this to happen. Number 1, God may have taken a relationship away from you to protect you from getting hurt in ways that you can't even fathom. When you really wanted to be with someone, it can hurt your heart very deeply when God did not allow that relationship to come to fruition. But what we need to remember is that Scripture tells us God spares us of trials and protects us in ways that we're not even aware of. For example, Psalm 91, 3-6, He will keep you safe from all hidden dangers and from all deadly diseases. He will cover you with His wings. You will be safe in His care. His faithfulness will protect you and defend you. Lastly, for point 1, I think it's helpful to remember that there are just as many people praying the opposite prayer and asking God the opposite question. Lord, why didn't you stop me from meeting this person? Why didn't you take this relationship away? There are people who wish that they never met the person that ended up hurting them so bad. So while you might be confused about why God allowed this relationship to not progress, trust in His goodness for you. Number 2, God may have taken this relationship away so that you could draw closer to Him in a deeper way than you ever have before. The greatest pleasures in life often grow from the seeds of the pain in our past. You might not know it now, but oftentimes the pain you're going through is actually preparing you for a greater pleasure that God is going to give you one day. There are countless Christians who can testify to this idea that I'm talking about, that through this terrible, painful relationship loss, disappointment, that was the time in their life where they grew with God in a greater way than they ever did before. So it really depends on how you're going to respond to this pain. It can be a time where you reject God, like a lot of people do, and say, you allowed this pain, so I hate you. Or like many other people, you can say, God, I need you. You're all I have. This pain is my opportunity to draw closer to you. As James 1, 2-4 explains, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And number 3, God could have taken this relationship away from you to prepare you and to get you ready to be available for the person that He does have planned for you. In our limited human knowledge, we just can't understand what God fully understands. He sees the end of the story while we're still in the middle. There are so many people who have prayed for God to give them this specific person earlier in their life, but then they went through this process of letting them go, and then they met the person God actually has for them. And then they're so grateful that God said no then so that He could say yes now. So even if you don't fully understand why all of this happened, the most important thing for you to do is to choose to follow God anyway. Remember that He always has a good plan for you. And when you follow Him, it's always going to result in the best for you. A thumbs up helps this content spread to other people who might need to see it. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.